healthcare law, the website. The White House decided to send in an emergency team led by Jeff Zients, outside group from here. Anything under consideration to do the same thing at the VA, considering that the crisis appears to be arguably a lot worse exponentially than what was taking place at HHS, of coming in and trying to send, if you're not going to get rid of the current team, then sending in some sort of emergency.
Well, I don't have any personnel announcements to make on the VA except to say that the President takes the situation, as he has said, around the Phoenix office very seriously. And that's why he directed Secretary Shinseki to investigate, and Secretary Shinseki has invited the independent Veteran Affairs Inspector General, Office of Inspector General, to conduct a comprehensive review. The President remains confident that Secretary Shinseki is focused on this matter, and he's confident in Secretary Shinseki's ability to lead the department and to take appropriate action based on the IG's findings. On the broader issues, I think it's important to note that this administration, with Secretary Shinseki's leadership, has aggressively addressed the challenge posed by the backlog at VA, a backlog that was enhanced in its size in large part by the decision to have a predisposition towards acceptance for those who would have claims over Agent Orange exposure and claims over PTSD.
How can you say about aggressively taking action when the issue in Phoenix and with another whistleblower actually has to do with lying about the backlog?
Well, I think that the numbers broadly reflect an aggressive approach, and that includes.
Considering what happened in Phoenix, it could be all of this.
You're talking about an individual matter that is under investigation, and we take it very seriously, as does Secretary Shinseki, and we look forward to a full review by the Independent Inspector General. And for the results of that review, I would say that since the beginning of fiscal year 2014, 759,724 claims have been completed, which is 162,831 more than the number of claims completed this time last year, which shows an enhanced focus and dedication to providing our veterans with the service and care that they deserve.
But I go back, it's been a 6-year problem. I mean, actually, it's been longer than that.
Well, I think,
with the VA.
As Secretary Hagel and others noted, this is obviously a challenge that has been long in the making. But and that's a broad issue that has. But on
back there about trying to come up and say, you know what, we got to get in. Jeff Zients and his team in, or whatever.
I don't have any personnel announcements, Chuck. What I can tell you is that we're very concerned about the reports. We look forward to the independent IG's review of it.
Until there's an IG before you guys decide.
I just don't have any Well, no, I don't have any personnel announcements to make. John.
Just to follow up on that, do you think that the VA's done a good job in addressing this issue of the backlog of claims overall?
I think that.
What grade would you give?
Well, John, what I would say is that the VA has aggressively addressed the challenge posed by the backlog, a backlog that was put under considerably additional stress by the correct decision to recognize those with claims related to exposure to Agent Orange from the Vietnam War generation, and those with claims related to PTSD from the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. That put a lot more stress on the system, but it was the right thing to do. And since the high water mark in terms of the backlog, especially those claims that had been waiting for more than a certain number of days, there has been substantial progress in the reduction of the size of the backlog. I don't have all the data with me right now, but I can assure you, as the number I did just provide to you demonstrates, that this has been something that has gotten the attention of obviously Secretary Shinseki, but also the rest of the administration, and it's something that the President feels very strongly about.
But just to get on Chuck's point, the issue in Arizona is that it seems that there was a cover-up to try to hide the true size of the backlog. Now, we don't know if that was, something just limited to Arizona, if it happened elsewhere, but are you confident you can trust the statistics that you have, that, in fact, VA has made, as you said, progress, a lot of progress in dealing with this backlog, if, at least in this one instance, the suggestion is that the numbers, may not be right?
I can't prejudge, obviously, a review that's being undertaken with regard to a specific office and allegations around that office. What I can say is, yes, we are confident that there has been significant progress made in reducing the size of the backlog, and that has been a focus at the VA and of the entire administration because of the fundamental conviction reflected in the fact that the President has made sure that funding is increased for the VA throughout his time in office, that we have a commitment to our veterans for the service they provided our nation, and that includes especially our wounded veterans and our disabled veterans who need the care that they deserve.